Here we have our kitchen countertop scene with the 1 meter square and the apple. Now when we render this, we get the shadow image with just the gray square. What I'd like to do first is, one of the important things to selling this composite, as you see, we have these dark streaks. Now this is light coming in from a side window. However, we also have illumination from a top light, which is actually the main source of illumination. You can see the light from the shadow from the windows on the side is just giving us this very slight shadow here. The primary shadow you can see underneath the microwave here. That's the very dark shadow. So most of the illumination is coming from directly above. But for right now, we want to match these streaks here. Now the way we match these streaks, let's switch this back to our shaded view. We're going to use something in our lights, a nice property that we have with spotlights. First of all, I'm going to switch this to spotlight. And let's take a quick look through the camera view. Okay, that's actually pretty good. Back to camera view. In my spotlight properties, alright, I have created an image, loaded right here, called Slats, and this is on the CD. And it's not a real complicated image, as you can see. It's just simply a bunch of streaks that I did in a paint program. This is going to be used as a projection image. And this is as easy to do. It only works with spotlights. So we go into our light properties under Basic Spotlight and select Slats. Now we're not going to see it here. However, a new function with Lightwave 8, when we look through our camera view, we will actually see our slats through here, or our projection image. Now let's take a quick render. You know, not terribly far off the mark. I think I want to tighten them up a little bit. Okay, this is where a lot of people get confused. The problem with projection images is we have no control over them, except putting them in there. Now, if I want to shrink down that image, the only thing I can do is mess with my cone angle. And if I make my cone angle bigger, these slats are getting spread out over a wider area. If I go back to my cone angle here, make it much smaller, do a quick render, you can see they're much closer together. Now, right now it's very extreme. As we move on, we're going to actually make this a much subtler effect. We're actually going to take the effect off of the counter here and just have it onto the objects on the that will be sitting on top, our actual composite elements. So I'm going to back that up a little bit more. Give myself soft edge. And I'm going to move this, rotate it just a little bit. And I bet you that is pretty close to what I want. So using my imagination here, it's looking like that would be about the angle that we would want. I'm going to add another element in here because the apple really isn't showing it off as well as I had hoped. So I'm going to nice big white dinner plate and move the apple over here. And these are objects, these are stock objects right out of the Lightwave content. Okay, so we have our dinner plate, a white dinner plate over the gray background. We have our apple. Right now we only have one light source in the scene, so it's not going to look too good for a while. But the purpose of this is to show how we're matching our side images here. We want these slats here to kind of look like those slats. So I'm going to jump into my surface editor and just adjust my 1 meter plane here So I have a front projection map using the countertop image, and I can see that's looking a little dark, so I'm just going to still a little dark. Let's try that. Now we'll be changing that because we're going to add another light to the scene. Okay, so we have these slats that are, you can see just by luck this one seems to be matching up here. We've got lights. It's way too intense. So let's just go ahead and add, I'm going to add a distant light. And I'm going to call this my top light, because it'll be the light that will apparently be coming from the top of the room. And let's just say it's going straight down 90 degrees. Now this is a distant light, so the position really doesn't matter. However, mentally it helps if I put it in a roughly approximate position. And let's take a look at what this looks like when we render it. Now we're getting in the ballpark. We have, very harsh shadows right here, which we don't like. We'll have to fix, and also some of the other stuff going on. We also do not have this matching our background image, and if we want to do this in a single pass, we're going to have to do that. So let's go in and do some tweaking of our light settings. So I'm going into my light properties. The first thing that I want to do, my original light, this is the one that has the slats. Now we have the option of lights. We can exclude elements from the light. For instance, our meter square. All this particular light is doing, and I think I'm going to change the name. I'm going to call this, rename, light slats. So easy access. It's 100%. I think if we take that down by half, we'll check that. We're also going to tell it to exclude illuminating the meter object. And let's just take a quick render there. Well, this got a lot darker because it's not being illuminated by that slats light. It's only being illuminated by the top light. However, it is not giving us these slats on the 1 meter square or the countertop. It is only affecting the plate and the apple. And that still might be a little bit too intense. So let's take another round of tweaking here. We'll take this down to 30%. Let's select my top light, my distant light. That's only at 50%. We're going to set it to 100%. Now, this light is facing straight down. I faced it down 90 degrees. Now, normally I don't like doing something exactly dead on. But as you can see here, I've got my flat plane. I'll just move this over here. Because it's a distant light, the position doesn't matter. Only the angle. So the light, 100% light, is going flat down onto my ground object. I'm going to set my diffuse level to 100%. So in theory, if a diffuse level is 100% and I'm aiming a light at 100% at it, it should match exactly with the background image. And let's see if that theory holds up. I'll take a look at it here. Not exactly. It's a little bit brighter. Why do you suppose that is? Well, there's one setting we didn't change. We did not change our ambient noise or our ambient intensity of the light. Let's set that to 0. And look at this. Can you see where the line is right here? Nope. It's gone. We still have some issues here. this looks kind of fake, but actually it's exactly how the background image looked. We have our slats going over the plate here. We have the slats also going over the apple. Our shadows are way too harsh right here. But these are all things that we can deal with.